coming in and just watching, I am Dr. Deirtre Cotton, and this is my son, Jeremiah Cotton. And we're going to deal with abundant life and abundant living, and realizing that we're coming out of a pandemic and we're coming out of a lot of social stressors and a lot of things that have been going on that have people mentally and emotionally and physically drained, stressed, pulled to its limits. And we want to realize that there's a level that we should be living on, that even in the midst of everything that is going on, we can still live in abundance and overflow. So I'm going to start with John 10:10, and I'm going to be reading out of the Amplified Version. And it says, "The thief comes only in order to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly," is how many of us know it reads. But this one I want to say, "I came that they may have and enjoy life and have it in abundance." And that word here, it says to the full till it overflows. So I came that they might have life, enjoy life abundantly, meaning to its full, to something when it gets full, it's to its capacity, to its fullness. So I was trying to find a jar or a jug or something so we can see when something is full. And then not only when it gets full, but to the point of overflow. Overflow. All right? You got anything to add to that, Jeremiah?
No, you got it.
Okay. So abundant life for me would be considered, excuse me, your better life, living your better life, living better than whatever happened before. Better after what, right? Many of you all are aware of me doing better after being broken. And if you love better after being broken, I want you to give a shout out and put in the chat better after being broken, or put BABB. But abundant life is how we live after something, after trauma, after a tragedy, after a loss, or
Setback.
after a setback. Good phrase. After a setback, maybe after a failure, after trying something and it not quite working out the way you wanted it to, which we call a disappointment. After a rejection or feeling abandoned or whatever. And so there is an abundant life that you can live, that you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay confined. You don't have to stay mentally as a victim to your circumstances. But you can realize that you can live to a full, that you can live to an overflow. And the question is, and Jeremiah, you chime in, you know, why is it that we're not living this abundant, abounding life? When something is abounding, it's like it's overflowing. It's way above. It's to its fullest, to its height, to its capacity, about to burst. And I feel like many times people are not really living abundantly. What's your thoughts?
Not all the time, no. People do live in the here and now, what they can see, and not on the possibilities people believe, or usually get sidetracked of what's happening right now and not thinking of what's the potential could be. People just see the situation for what it is and not thinking toward the better side of things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So really in all actuality, they kind of get stuck.
Yes.
They kind of get stuck in yesterday, or stuck in the pain, stuck in the past,
Pain of the past.
stuck in the pain of the past. Absolutely. So abundant life, your better life, the better life or abundant life after something, after a trauma, a tragedy, right? So that you have the fullness of joy even after that, the fullness of strength even after that, in body, spirit, and soul. And so I kind of broke that down. So we want to abound fully spiritually. Spiritually, we want to abound where we're not spiritually confused and spiritually discombobulated, where we don't feel like God hears, God is answering, is God near? We're losing our faith. We're walking in doubt. Now we're walking in fear. The Bible tells us that a double minded man is unstable in all his ways. And let that man think that he shall receive nothing of the Lord. So that's a definite sure shot way on not abounding or not being able to bound, where we're double minded, where we're constantly fearing, or we're constantly questioning, or we're constantly doubting, or we're feeling like we're not worthy, or we're feeling like it's not going to work if we try again. So we just kind of give up. We kind of throw in the towel. We kind of just live that mediocre life, and we play the bench. Jeremiah played football, and my youngest son played football, and excuse me, I'm a little congested, but nobody wants to play the bench. But some people get comfortable watching other people play and being entertained by what others are accomplishing. And then yet they get comfortable riding the bench. And they never want to get in the game. They never want to become a game changer because they feel like after all they've been through, they don't have anything that will contribute. They don't have anything to add. They don't have anything that's of substance, or they don't have anything that people want to hear, or they don't have anything to say, or they have nothing that'll be of quality for anyone. They're like, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I don't really have any gifts or talents. I don't really have anything special about me or anything. Got any comments?
Some people can feel like that, and maybe they just haven't found their own talent or took the time to discover themselves. Some people are just clueless of who they are at times and don't take the time or the necessary requirements to sit down and just observe yourself and then try to communicate with God. Take time out for yourself and the ability to try new things, to go somewhere else or be a different version of yourself. No one tells you you have to stay exactly where you at, but people do get complacent and when they get stuck in a rut and get used to the same old thing every day, and getting used to not doing anything spectacular or new, then it starts becoming a routine. So I would advise people to take at least one day out of yourself to go outside or do something different that what you would do throughout your normal day and talk to God, or at least try to find out about yourself, read a book or work out for a minute. Just give yourself time to understand yourself and your purpose in life. That's what I would suggest.
Okay. Okay. So you got abounding spiritually in your spiritual walk. And Jeremiah said, really good. Spend some time meditating, spend some time with the Lord, spiritual health, spiritual growth. And sometimes we can get upset with God because we feel like God is unfair and nothing ever great happens for me, and praying is not working, or whatever is not working. And so God wants you to abound in fullness of joy and in strength spiritually, not only spiritually, but in your soul. I want to stop there just for a minute. The soul is the heart of a man, the mind of a man, the thinking, your intellect, your feelings, right? Your emotions,
The inner being.
your inner being, right? And God wants you to abound there also. Mental health is a big thing right now. People are not abounding mentally. People are not full of joy. People are not full of strength mentally and emotionally. They're not overflowing. They're having heavy thoughts, negative thoughts, depressed thoughts, suicidal thoughts, uh, thoughts that things won't ever get better, things will never change, my life will always be this way, and I always get the bad or the raw end of the stick, and nothing in life is good. This whole world is bad, and there's no good people in the earth. I mean, it's just there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no seeing that things are good. And so we want to start working on, or even in our future discussions, talking about abounding in your inner being, as Jeremiah said it, your inner self, your emotions, your heart, your mental state. You should abound. You should be overflowing. You should be full of joy, full of strength, mentally able to rebound and be resilient and persevere and get through. So when the spiritual connects with the soul, then there is, because you have that connection with God and you have that knowing and that confidence that all things are going to work together for your good. And so there's no reason to be in despair or depressed or agitated or frustrated or anxious or overwhelmed or whatever those things are. And we can abound in those areas. We can abound in anxiety. We can abound in being restless. We can abound in not being peaceful or full of joy. So we don't want to abound in the wrong areas. We want to abound in the good areas, emotionally, mentally, in our heart. Unforgiveness. We don't want to abound in unforgiveness, but we want to abound in unconditional love. We want to be full. We want to overflow in that area. So we want to talk about those topics too as we get into more abundant life classes. You have anything you want to add about the soul
Um,
and abounding in that area?
so can be difficult. Like I said, it's something you're gonna have to work on yourself a lot. Um, Maybe spiritual for some people may not be reading the word. Maybe you need to find a good spiritual leader that might have a better understanding about the spirit and the Bible and the word, and take heed and practice what they preach. And or maybe you need to challenge yourself a little bit more. People are not willing to challenge themselves so they can achieve something. Achievement cannot happen unless you go through a challenge. You can't have a testimony without
Our
going through a
test.
test. So it's you have to test yourself. You have to find your spirit. It's like being in the wilderness. Jesus found himself in the wilderness. Paul found himself. You just have to go where no one other person is supposed to go but you and God, and have that one time and place of understanding with one another, so you can find that spiritual growth and find your own soul, and able to express it with others that are finding their own way. That's what I would suggest to people
Hmm.
if dealing with your soul.
And I like what you said when you first started. Sometimes the soul work is not easy work.
It's not.
It's not easy work. That's like that's tapping into yourself. You know, it's so easy to blame other people and look and say it's because of them and because of that and because of that. That's easy to do because then we don't take ownership. We don't take accountability for what's really going on inside of us. You know, the turmoil, the turbulence, the storm, the raging thoughts, emotions, and heartbreaks, and heart upsets and failures. And heartbreaks don't they always have to be with other people. Heartbreaks could be just us not feeling that we should be where we are in life. We get to a certain age and we feel like, oh, I feel like I should be much further down the road now. I feel like I haven't been doing what I should be doing. And so now you've broken your own heart because you feel like I'm a loser. I'm not really doing nothing great or grand, and I'm just not. And so you haven't even lived up to your own expectations of where you felt you would have been or should have been by now in your life. Um, and so we got to learn how to abound in our soul. And then the last three part of this is in the body, right? Physical health, wealth, and outside conditions. Abounding is also means that you should be abounding in family. You should be abounding in finances. You should be abounding in your career or your business or whatever it is. You should be abounding in your health, right? Your health and well-being. And so living an abundant life is just not one category, right? It's like a holistic thing to be living abundantly and abounding and being full and being and overflowing in joy and in strength and in peace and in confidence that your life is worth living and your life is impacting others and your life is making a difference in the world. Okay. So the contrast of abundant life is feelings of lack, emptiness, dissatisfaction, unworthiness, feeling uh stuck, stuck feelings, and you might may motivate a person to seek for the meaning of life to change their life. So the contrast of an abundant life is a life that doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. You're dissatisfied. You feel that you have lack of a lot of things. It could be lack of friends, lack of money, lack of direction, lack of clarity, lack of purpose, lack of spiritual walking with God or the Lord, or lack of having friendships, relationships, networks. There's a lack of so many things. And emptiness, feeling empty, feeling like you have nothing to offer, feeling like others are better than you, and others have more to say or contribute than you do, where you feel empty. Sometimes you can feel alone and still be in a crowded room. You can be with people and still feel rejected and not accepted. So emptiness, the contrast to an abundant life, or feeling abundant, or feeling like you're abounding. And then there's also that dissatisfaction. You are dissatisfied with where you are in life, where you are in your marriage, where you are in your career, where you are in your finances, where you are just in general dissatisfied. And so we want to shift from that. We want to shift back to feeling abundant, back to feeling abounding, back to feeling full and overflowing and living that kind of life, because that is our privilege. That is our right. That is what we are walking by faith to achieve and receive, and knowing that it is available. It's available. Okay. And so I just kind of want to end up with just kind of talking a little bit more, excuse me, you all, with the fact that the first part of that scripture from John 10:10, it starts off with the devil. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And then it says, but I have come that you might have this life, this abundant life, overflowing, a better life, better than whatever happened before, better after, dot, 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 whatever your after is, right? And so we've got to understand that the devil, the enemy, or the world, our traumas, our tragedies, the drama, and the things that have happened into our life, our past, right? As Jeremiah said, our failures, our pain, our stumbles, our mess ups. Some of them, or some of us, like myself, we've messed up a lot, and then we look back and go, oh, if I had never did that. So we got regrets of what we should have did or could have did or didn't do, and where we could have been if I hadn't have done that and I would have been further or whatever. So there's a lot of regrets and resentments. And so the enemy, the world, traumas, tragedies, dramas, our failures, our stumbles, our bumbles, all of that comes to steal our joy and our strength, our abundant life. It comes to kill our joy and our strength and abundant life. It comes to rob from us. It comes to steal it. It comes to destroy it. Destroy what? This abundant life that we're supposed to be living. It comes to destroy our health, physically and mentally. It comes to destroy our well being and our soul, of being happy and feeling fulfilled and feeling purposeful and feeling such joy and strength. The enemy, the world, our tragedies, our past, our pain, it doesn't want us to get there. It wants us to stay stuck. It wants us to hide. It wants us to crawl back. It never wants us to blossom and bloom and become and reach that potential and that purpose that God has for us, and live that abundant and abounding life, full and overflowing, and so much of an overflow that we're touching other people's lives. Even if we're touching other people's lives with the story about our pain and with the testimony of our struggle and where God brought us from and how we became better after being broken, and telling people about our broken pieces. So don't let the enemy, the devil, the world, the tragedy, the trauma, the pain, the past, don't let it rob, steal, kill, and destroy your abundant life. Full of joy, full of excitement, full of purpose, full of passion for life, to love others enough to help them with whatever your genius is, whatever your gifts are, whatever your talents are, that you're willing to impact the world with those. And so, what? What is it that the enemy is trying to steal, kill, and destroy from you? What area of your life that the world is trying to snuff out and suffocate you, that you don't start living abounding and abundant and full and overflowing? What is it? Where is it? Who is it? And then we have to start making those shifts and those changes, like Jeremiah said. We have to make those adjustments. We'll have to start looking within. Sometimes you could be your worst enemy to your own abundant life. Maybe you're the one that's stopping you from living abundantly because you feel like you don't deserve it. You're not worthy of it. Your self-esteem is not there. Your confidence in who you are. You feel like, yeah, nothing good is ever going to happen to me. So I'm not even looking to live an abundant life. So you just negate it. You don't even try for it. You don't even believe for it. You don't even walk in faith for it. And so we're here tonight to tell you that there is an abundant life, and we'll be talking about it more, breaking it down on each little area. But there is an abundant life out there for you, that you can walk in it. You can live it in your body, in your health, in your mind, in your career, in your business, in your finances, in your family, in your marriage, with your children. Yes. Yes, you can. You should be. Anything to add?
No, I think you covered it well enough.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to stop right here on tonight. I hope that you all have a good understanding, or it's not even really an understanding because it didn't really break down anything, so awesome. I just want you to believe that.
Believe in yourself.
Yes. Yes.
That's the first step.
Yeah. And believe that you're worthy of living an abundant life. Believe that it can happen for you. Go ahead. What?
Or at least working toward the belief. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with believing. Just make sure you keep putting in the work.
Jeremiah saying, and strive toward believing. For some of us, starting to believe it is the first part of the battle, right? So that might even be a process of just constantly saying to yourself, I should be living an abundant life. Waking up in the morning saying, I'm going to be living my abundant life. Abundant life is coming for me. I'm walking in my abundant life. Sometimes you have to speak those things that be not as though they already were. Sometimes you have to change your own stinking thinking to realize that, yes, I'm walking in an abundant life. I'm going to be walking in my abundant life. I'm already in my abundant life. Even if you don't see the abundance, you got to speak it over your finances. You got to speak it over your family. You got to speak it over your marriage, over your children, over your career, over whatever it is that your hands are doing. You speak that everything that I put my hands to, they shall prosper. The work of my hands shall be fruitful. And I shall gain abundance, and I shall overflow, and I shall be fulfilled in that which I am doing, and the people's lives that I'll be touching. And so you got to walk in that confidence of knowing that, yeah, you too, living an abundant life. You deserve it. It's yours. You can have it. He said, I came. And he already came. He's not coming again for that. He said, I already came that you might have life and have it more abundantly, abounding, overflowing, fulfilling, satisfying, joyful, full of strength, tenacity, perseverance, passion, love, peace, just abounding every day, waking up just full. Today is going to be an abundant day. I'm looking for abundance in every area of my life. I'm living it. I'm enjoying my life. Yes, that's the life you should be living. And I'm praying for you that you will find that abundant life. I'm praying for you that you will get the mindset to realize that abundant life is yours. And so we thank you on tonight, myself, Dr. Deirtre Cotton, and Jeremiah Cotton on our Abundant Life classes. Our first Thursday, or second Thursday, excuse me, second Thursday of the month. And I'll see you back again next month on the second Thursday. God bless you all. Bye bye.